Welcome back to the Retire Young Radio Show. I am your host, Joshua David, having a good time talking about the financial markets, how they work, and different ways we can utilize these financial markets, whether it's stock, options, futures, and Forex. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Retire Young podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. And as we get into this final segment of the day, I do want to continue this discussion about retirement. I just don't feel like we covered enough in there. And I want to get more into the plan because we talk a lot about how important it is to have a trading and investment plan, why you have rules within your plan, and the different techniques and strategies or the assets that we have access to within that plan. So, Al, let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of those different techniques in this plan and also the rules. But how do you, I guess, first off, how can you start a financial plan?
Well, you start by understanding how important it is to have a plan. And we understand that. We think that that's probably the most important thing you can do. And we help you with that. We actually have a class that we provide for our students on the proper way to put together a plan. And it's going to vary from person to person. You know, you can't just go and pull a form off of the internet, for example, and fill it out and make sure that it is specific to you. The market changes. The market is unpredictable, which means you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to do different things. But that plan should include those things. It should include a couple of things. Number one, it should have a set of rules you followed, as I mentioned before, a step-by-step process that takes the thinking as much as possible out of it. It controls the emotions. But it also should, really pay attention to the different conditions that can happen so you know what to do. It's sort of like a checklist that a pilot would go through. If there's an issue in the cockpit, they have a list of things that they follow that they know will get them to the end point, which is where they want to go, hopefully, which is what will take care of that issue or that problem. The same thing is true in a plan. It should include all of those things. It should include your goals. You know, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't know where you want to go and you can't specify that, it's pretty hard to do the things that are needed to get to that point. You can't go, and I think actually this is something that I've found a lot. I have a brother that is in an assisted living facility, and a lot of the people there, when they sit around and talk about things, they're not talking about regretting the things that they've done. They're talking about regretting the things they didn't do that they didn't plan for. So, make sure that doesn't happen to you, I guess is what I'm saying. But the plan should also help you with the confidence. We talk about this a lot. This is something, if you're going to be involved in the markets, if you're going to put your arms around your own financial assets, you want to do it with comfort and confidence, and that plan will help you with that. It should be comprised of that core strategy, the foundational strategy that you use, which for our students is a strategy that shows them how to time the change in the movement of price. And to be able to do that, you have to know where the sellers are and where the buyers are. That's what this strategy shows you. So that's the core strategy. And then the different assets that are involved that would be specific to helping you achieve what your objective is. There are a number of things that are out there. You don't have to learn everything. And that's, I think, one of the things that confuses people. They think there are so many different things they have to learn. That's not the case. Just really kind of concentrate on and master one thing. Find a niche, something that works for you. And that means that the education that you have, the source you have for your education, should give you the opportunity to learn different things. And then, again, you don't have to learn everything, but work with someone who has some experience and guidance here who can maybe help you decide what might be the most appropriate for you, but have access to a number of things. Some people start out with one thing that's very minimal, very small, very basic, and then they want to add on later. Some people don't need to do that. But again, this is all something that is not a cookie cutter, one size fits all thing.
You're right. I mean, you said those 3 C's, but you brought another one in there, and that's comfort. A lot of people just aren't comfortable taking over their financial future because they feel like someone else can do better. Well, usually that's a stranger. And once you have that comfort, you can build confidence, and having that confidence to make better financial decisions, well, that is what we are all looking for and striving for, is better financial decisions. And now you talk more about how to become more comfortable, but also how to become more confident in your investment decision. As we kind of close the show out here today, we've got a lot of listeners, and we've covered a lot of different topics. We talked about the different assets, the stock market, which is great, the futures market, the Forex market, and the options market. But a lot of people, I would say probably most people that are listening right now are probably fairly brand new to these financial markets,
Right.
and don't know really where to start. What do I do first? What are some accounts that I can open? How do I open an account? So let's dissect that. How can somebody open an account, and what are the type of accounts that are actually out there for us as the public?
Yeah, most of the brokerage firms that are out there now will allow you to just set up an account online. You can fill out something online. It's very easy. This is not complicated. And if you need help or you need guidance there, we can do that. But it's an easy process to do. It's not complicated. And any of the brokerage firms
You-
out there will let you set up a self-directed retirement account.
You're talking about opening an account. You're saying that's somewhat easy. We're not
Yeah,
saying
sure.
that trading and investing is easy.
No,
There's
no.
risk in that.
We're-
Just
we're s-
opening the account,
we're
the
still-
concept is easy,
We're
right?
still talking about just opening the account, getting
Got
it
it.
set up. Yeah, don't let something like that keep you from maybe participating in these markets. If this is something that you feel is right for you, then we'll help you. We can help you down those steps. Kind of there's a path that you follow, and we can help you with that. But the first step would be to come to one of these investment classes that Josh has been talking about, because the goal there is to just give you some insight about how the markets function, what the opportunities are that are available to all of us as the public, and for you to decide whether it's right for you or not. And for some people, it's not. Some people should just maybe use a financial advisor. There are some people who are better off maybe taking control of their own assets or just easing into it. You don't have to start by taking everything either. And again, maybe that's part of your plan is to maybe do some simulated trades, do some demo trades first. We would rather have you do that until you reach the point where you feel that you're consistent in what you're doing, and then ease into maybe putting a little bits of your own money into trades or investments. But it's all part of a process. It's not something that you can just read a book about or listen to a webinar and all of a sudden you're going to be great at it. It's like anything else. It takes time. It takes knowledge. It takes building the skills to use the knowledge.
That's the big difference. There's a big difference between knowledge and that skill. Knowledge will help you
Correct.
talk about it. Skill is where it'll help you execute.
Right. Yeah. The knowledge is of no value unless you know how to use it properly and when to use it properly. That's the skill building part. And that comes from repetition. It comes from having access to somebody who can give you guidance, maybe some mentoring, maybe being part of a community of people that are like-minded. And what we find is that when 2 or 3 people get together and they start talking about a particular subject, the combined value of that is greater than each individual mind. So that's what a lot of our students do. One of the big things that they find as an advantage is being able to talk to other people that are looking at doing the same thing.
Well, I'm glad you brought that community up. I mean, that's one of those things where investing can be a lonely business. If people are not comfortable and confident, it's probably because they're doing it alone. But if you have a community to help bounce ideas off of and just help with some guidance or some mentoring, well, that is what we're all looking for, is that community. Al, each and every week, you drop a lot of knowledge about just some wisdom. And I know you got a little bit of wisdom today. Let's hit them up with that.
Well, Josh, in life, we have choices. One choice that too many people make is just trying to get through or just trying to get by in life, while others choose to make choices to help them realize their potential. You're the one that's in charge of which direction you follow, and it starts with taking the first step. For many of you, that first step just might be attending one of these free investment classes.
You're right. It all comes down to building the consistency, to gain the confidence, to make better choices in your investment career. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Retire Young podcast on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Until next week with the Retire Young radio show, retire young, my friends.